Today's game brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. With Merlin Olsen, this is Dick Enberg. Welcome to a cool, hazy Sunday in Los Angeles. The cavernous Coliseum, with its capacity of over 90,000, occupied by a well-dispersed audience of around 20,000 at kickoff time as the Raiders host the Chargers. It is a game of considerable import. The winner of today's contest will own first place in the AFC West. The loser goes 3-2 and a second place tie with Seattle, an apparent winner at Detroit today. The Raiders with a sizable advantage in terms of regulars that have returned to play, those who have crossed the picket line, and you'll see that in the introduction of the starting lineups, while the Chargers do not have a single regular on either side, offense or defense, in their starting units today. Merlin.
And the test I think we're going to see today, Dick, is how well a team can do that is undermanned in a sense, the Chargers, but playing together as a team against a team that has really become two teams, or a divided team, with the addition of a lot of the NFL regulars. It's going to be interesting how well they can do joining this replacement team for the Raiders.
Rick Calhoun, a return to punt for a touchdown at Denver Monday night, number 21, and Craig Ellis, 31 deep for the Raiders, who will receive to open the game today. This long rivalry that goes back to the early AFL days. Gaffney of San Diego boots it to the goal line. Calhoun, number 21, down inside the 10-yard line. And the special teams of the Chargers have played outstanding ball in their 2 wins the last 2 weeks. Vince Evans, former Southern California star, Rose Bowl MVP, the quarterback for the Raiders. In white are those that were on the regular team across the picket line. Steve Strahan joins Ethan Horton, former #1 pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. Carl Aikens and Mervin Fernandez are the wideouts, and Ron Wheeler, the tight end. Totolo, Giesick, Regent, Wilkerson, and Wright. The line, Giesick and Wilkerson, rookies, but had made the 45-man roster. Evans, a considerably talented runner, rolls out, throws incomplete through the hands of a wide open tight end, Ron Wheeler. Defensively for the San Diego Chargers in white, and of course go way back, they were the Los Angeles Chargers. Joe Phillips, Blaze Winter, who leads them in tackles and sacks in the last 2 weeks, and Tony Simmons, the front 3. No regular players in the starting 11 defensively, offense or defense. Taylor, Humiston, Kirk, and Jackson are the linebackers. And the deep 4 for San Diego, Hopper Patterson. That's Elvis Patterson, the New York Giant of last year, Walter Harris, and Carl Brazley. On 2nd and 10, tripped in the backfield as Horton breaks out of a couple of tacklers and gains 2 before Mike Humiston, number 50 from Weber State, makes the tackle. Humiston playing well with an extra motivation today.
Highly motivated. Gets a chance to read this play. Horton kind of stumbled in the backfield, gave Humiston a little extra time, but he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do in behind that defensive line as he slides to the outside and met Horton at the line of scrimmage.
We'll share that Humiston story with you in a play or two. We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the New England-Houston game won by the Patriots 21-7, and those who have seen Pittsburgh beat Indianapolis 21-7. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, where on the first series of downs you've just seen a fumble recovered by the Chargers inside the Raider 10-yard line. San Diego playing without a single player in the starting lineup that crossed the picket line against a reinforced Raider team complemented by many veterans. The Chargers get the first break of the game.
Chance to watch it as Horton is hit hard, just stacked up on the line. That's Stacy Price, who's played so well on special teams. The ball is going to bounce free, and I believe it's Elvis Patterson, number 43, who finally found it on the ground for the Chargers.
1st and goal, Chargers. Neuheisel is the quarterback, hands up the middle. Short yardage down to about the 5-yard line. Howie Long makes the tackle for the Raiders in black. Let's check that San Diego starting offensive unit with Neuheisel, one of the many UCLA quarterbacks now on the replacement teams. Todd Spencer, who played here at USC. Key Van Jenkins, the running backs. Al Williams caught 5 passes last week. Tim Moffitt, a former Raider. Harry Holt, the tight end, a former Cleveland Brown. Rouse, a 340-pounder, anchors that offensive line that's very big. Here's the option play, and Frank Middleton is stopped at the 5-yard line. Middleton, who will take the handoff or a pitch from Neuheisel and then play the option with number 35, Martin Sartan. Greg Townsend, a regular for the Raiders, made the tackle.
You'll see Middleton. He'll take the toss here. He has the option of running off tackle, or he can toss that ball to the trailing man outside. That's Martin Sartan, number 35. It's a genuine option, an unusual play, one you don't see in professional football, and it may give the Raiders some trouble today.
3rd and goal. Neuheisel, quarterback draw, and he's to the goal line, but stopped just inches short. He tried to lurch forward, as you could see, and reach the ball out to the goal line, but he stopped at about the half-yard line. That presents an interesting choice for Al Saunders. No choice. He's going to go for the field goal.
It's a tough play down close to the goal line like this. You try and sucker those defensive linemen in and then just dive across and get what you can. Obviously not quite as much as they'd hoped for. It's going to be 4th down, and are they going to kick it? No, I think they're going to go for it now, Dick. Well, yeah, here they are. They're going for it.
They brought in about 5 replacements, so from the 1-foot line, it's 4th and goal. The toss, and in trouble is Martin Sartan, and the Raiders read it well.
I think I heard a whistle before that play got underway, but maybe not. And it would appear that the Raider defense has held up under what looked to be a perfect opportunity for the San Diego Chargers to jump out to an early lead.
Rod
Hill up quickly. This play completely blown out of shape as there was a poor start. I don't know whether it was a bad snap, but the Chargers never got off on the ball. The Raiders did, and they shut it down.
Youngest coach in the NFL, Al Saunders, 40 years of age. At the other extreme, of course, Tom Landry, 63, the Cowboys head mentor. So the Raiders overcome a fumble inside the 10, stop the Chargers, do not allow points, get it back right about where they gave it up. Evans, and another fumble, and the Chargers have recovered again at the same spot around the 8-yard line. Oh my, back-to-back plays. The Raiders cough it up. It's Carl Brazeley, 48, one of the safety men who comes up with it. Steve Strahan is the man who had it knocked free.
Let's try and see what happens on this play. The first one was knocked free. I can't that's just a mess down in there on that one. But it doesn't matter. The Chargers have a chance to get it back into the end zone. Let's see. And they were able to get the first one. They were able to get a second fumble and a second opportunity. They need to get some points.
So again, another chance for Neuheisel and San Diego. He goes to the air, and it's incomplete, intended for Sartan. Tucked away nicely by Greg Hill. 2 cornerbacks. Greg Hill, who played with Kansas City on the left side, and Rod Hill, drafted number 1 by Dallas, number 38 on the right side. Well, the rest, an all veteran defensive line of Townsend, Pickell, and Howie Long. Raiders certainly had the Chargers outmanned in that regard. Another regular, Jerry Robinson at linebacker, with Bird, Washington, and Goodlow. Hill and Hill, not related. James Davis, another veteran, and hard-hitting Eddie Anderson. They like him a lot, number 35. He's the man that sent Steve Watson to the hospital on Monday night. Open, wide open, incomplete, was Tim Moffitt, the former Raider. He had a step on the defense of Hill and Anderson, but the pass stretched him out a little too far. So 3rd and goal for San Diego. Have had now 6 plays inside the 10-yard line, and yet no points.
Pretty hard to survive when you get 2 brilliant opportunities on turnovers to get points. If you come away without any opportunities, you've got to be terribly discouraged at the beginning of this ball game. On the other hand, the Raiders defense will be very proud if they can hold off 2 such starts by their offense.
Neuheisel on the scramble, and he's got a touchdown. Rick Neuheisel. And that's something both teams have that the veteran clubs don't. Mobility by the quarterback, and it pays off for San Diego.
Neuheisel, not a nifty runner, but he's not afraid. Couldn't find a receiver, saw an opening, and took it for the touchdown. We'll look at that in just a moment.
Try for point, and tacking it on is Jeff Gaffney, who played at Virginia. Timeout with 3.5 minutes gone, and the Chargers A team of unknowns takes the early lead.
One of the men who had a shot at that play, Eddie Anderson, who's played very well. Well, he got a piece of Neuheisel right at the goal line and on the angle, so he wasn't able to do it. Let's watch Neuheisel. That's just a pure pass play that looked like it broke down, and you see Neuheisel breaking up inside.
With Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg, and Craig Ellis are deep as Gaffney kicks it off. It goes to Calhoun, a yard deep. Ooh. Bumps into his own man and stacked up at the 15-yard line. And just as the game started, the San Diego Charger special teams stopping the Raiders deep in their own end as Calhoun was unable to get even outside his 10-yard line to open the ball game. Well, that last touchdown, Merlin, on 3rd and goal at the 8-yard line after the Chargers had failed to convert another fumble recovery inside the 8. That could be a momentum swing emotionally for San Diego.
You got to get some points. You get 2 chances inside your opponent's 10-yard line to start a ball game. 2 big turnovers. If you blow both of them, you may not recover from it. They did not make the first one. They certainly converted on the second one. They have a touchdown lead. Now it's up to their defense.
Vince Evans guns the ball, and wide open is Mervyn Fernandez, who is a star in the Canadian Football League, and he takes it out to the 28-yard line, and the initial first down for the Raiders in the game. 13 yards in the play for Fernandez, who was the CFL Most Valuable Player 2 years ago. First look at other scores. The Jets and Miami in a scoring fest, much as they had last year at the Meadowlands. Remember that game that went overtime? The Jets lead by a touchdown. New England over Houston. New Orleans has rallied at Chicago and leads by 2 late. The rest after this play. On first down, give us to Ethan Horton, a former North Carolina All-American, across the 30-yard line. Tony Simmons made the tackle. Cleveland blanking Cincinnati. Gary Danielson with 4 touchdown passes for the Browns. Pittsburgh over Indianapolis 21-7. Seattle. Steve Largent had the first 3 touchdowns of that game. That's unfair. They almost ought to give the other team an extra defensive back and play with 12 with Largent in the game. Tampa Bay leading Minnesota. The Rams had a lead, but now it's Atlanta rallying in the second half to lead by 4. Here 7-0 San Diego. 2nd down and 7. Akins in motion. Evans on the screen to Strahan. 30, 35, first down at the 40. Steve Strahan, who played behind Doug Flutie on that fine Boston College team a couple of years ago. Jeffrey Jackson with a tackle.
When you run the screenplay, you have to do some good play acting. You have to get those defensive linemen to penetrate. Watch Joe Phillips. They give him a bump, let him come through, go all the way inside, and once they're clear, then those offensive linemen peel to the outside to give you the good blocking. Here's Phillips. Now watch the way they sucker him inside. Make him feel like they're blocking him and then turn him loose. He takes himself right out of the play.
If you don't put at least some kind of block on him, then he might smell.
Oh, he smells it. You bet. You bet. A defensive lineman knows that you're trying to sucker him then.
First down inside their own 40. Horton picking his way and gained 6 yards when it appeared he might lose a couple. Walter Harris from Stanford, a free agent with the Chargers in camp this summer, made the tackle at safety. Strahan wrestled down right at the yardsticks by 47 Daryl Hopper, who played here at Southern California. It may be a first down.
Dick, I think Joe Phillips is typical of a lot of these replacement players who are getting an opportunity, maybe for the first time ever, to play large quantities of a game. Even earlier in camp, they were given an opportunity to have a few series, but now they've been able to play for 3 games, some of them, and really demonstrate what they can do and certainly learn in the process. I think he's the kind of young man who benefited most from this strike.
Enthusiastic player. We'll try to get a word from him later. Evans throwing long. Akins incomplete. Carl Akins on his way to a touchdown. A former Northern Illinois star. The ball was right there. Well thrown by Evans.
Well, you can't do any more as a quarterback than that. Just a perfect throw by Vince Evans as he just gets it right there. You've got to catch this football. Akins has it right in his hands and then coughs it up. There are a few Raiders with hearts pounding because not only coughed it up but bounced it. A chance for the defensive man to pick it off.
Hopper and Brazeley there to knock it away after it was ricocheting off the chest of Akins. 2nd and 10. Strahan in motion. Play
Reverse.
action. Akins read well by the Chargers. It appeared to be number 46, Walter Harris, who came up to cut off the corner. A 2-yard gain for Akins. 3rd and 8 for the Raiders, with the clock showing the midpoint of the first quarter here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles.
Time moving quickly as we've had a lot of running plays, and the clock has not stopped much here in the early going. I don't think those kind of misdirection plays are as effective against a defense that's just finding its way as they would be against a good defense.
An aggressive defense that's really charging.
That reads it well.
It's almost a compliment to a defense when you try the trick plays. Out of the shotgun is Evans. Throws it up for possible grabs, but also throws it where no one can catch it into the sidelines, and the Raiders will have to punt it. Elvis Patterson, the former New York Giant, on the corner, cut by the Giants this summer, who is here, averaged under 39 a kick. Sails it deep, and letting it go is Al Williams, and it's a great kick for the Raiders to the 5-yard line. San Diego on a 44-yard punt by Gamache will start 1st and goal just outside its own 5. Al Saunders throughout the NFL. The coaches, in a way, have really enjoyed the fact they've really had to be teachers the last 2 weeks. Up the middle in a sizable game for Key Van Jenkins from UNLV.
I think of all the teams in the NFL, this Raider team has probably changed the least over the years. Flores, who came in through as a player, an assistant coach, and a head coach, talks about Raider tradition when he says, we've never been big on finesse players. We like to get down in the dirt and tough it out. They are a physical team. They've always played that style of football, and what they're doing today is not so different than what Al Davis started when he became the Raider head coach so many years ago.
Neuheisel throwing back across the green. Short yardage to the tight end Harry Holt. Played in the Canadian League after leaving Arizona, and then 4 years with the Cleveland Browns. Rod Hill makes the tackle for the Raiders.
What interests me about these two teams, they're kind of mirror images of their regular teams. The Chargers feel that their strength is in defense. Now, Chargers traditionally, that speaks offense to us. The Raiders, on the other hand, right now are talking about the strength of their team not being on the defense, of the replacement team anyway, but of being offensive. Now, that may have changed since they've had so many players cross the line, but the Chargers defense impressive just a moment ago.
Neuheisel breaking Dan Fouts' record with that throwing performance against Tampa Bay last week. 3rd and short. Delay out of the backfield, and enough for a 1st down as it's Tag Rome, number 82, a wide receiver lined up in the backfield and skirting to the outside. Isn't that a moniker?
Perhaps it's not heavy enough for the game that they've been eliminated.
Neuheisel in trouble, scrambling, and loses. There's a sack, or does he gain a yard? No, he loses 2. Bob Bukowski, number 95. One of the top picks of the Raiders last year, but out with back surgery, made that sack.
Howie Long, number 75, said he was embarrassed by his performance last week, Monday night, against the Denver Broncos. Well, I'll tell you, they're trying to embarrass him today, but they're trying to do it with 3 people.
That means somebody's got an open shot at a tackle. One of the great players in the league, Howie Long from Villanova, Boston, Massachusetts. High school there in Boston, where he's a pretty good boxer as well. Draw play and an open hole as number 39, Key Van Jenkins, gains 7. Jenkins, whose wife is watching up in Anchorage, Alaska today. She's a sergeant in the U.S. Army Air Force, stationed there as a computer operator. Boy, that's a long distance connection between.
Long romance, long ways to carry romance. The Raiders right now, Dick, are playing a 4-man line. Their usual alignment, a 3-man line, but they feel it with their regulars coming back in the way they have in that defensive line, that their strength is really to go to 4 down linemen. So we're going to see a lot of that during the day.
3rd down and 5. Oh my, 57, Jerry Robinson, shot through untouched and nails Neuheisel for the 2nd sack in that series. There's Robinson, 3-time All-American at UCLA. They retired his number 84 at Westwood.
Right there along with him, big number 95, Bob Bukowski. But watch the right-hand side of your screen You'll see it right there, number 57, just finding room up in the inside. He was just too quick. The guard was there to look at him, Dan Rosato, but Rosato didn't have a chance.
Joe Prokop, a left-footed kicker, and he just got that one away, and a flag is down. Calhoun back, fumbles the ball, and downs it at the 33-yard line. We may have a roughing the kicker penalty, as 4 Raider black shirts were on top of Prokop as he delivered a fine. Rick Neuheisel at the control. And Keevan Jenkins out to the 26, a gain of 6 on first down, and Townsend makes the tackle. He had 11.5 sacks for the Raiders last year.
Greg Townsend, who made that bad play on the punter, comes right back with a very quick and solid play. Really put the smack on him right there. He has great quickness for a big man.
An entire defensive line. Townsend off the ball. Long is maybe the quickest off the ball in the league, and they really like Bukowski's foot quickness. Play action. Neuheisel. And it's caught by number 86, Tim Moffitt, the ex-Raider from the University of Mississippi. Greg Hill with a stop, a 6-yard gain, and a first down. Well, they're looking at a possible overtime. Remember last year, what was it, 51-45, the Jets beat Miami.
What a great game that was.
It was the game of the year for us. New England a winner. New Orleans upsets the Bears, so no unbeaten teams after 5 games. Cleveland a shutout. Pittsburgh a win against Indianapolis. Seattle big against Detroit with Larson scoring 3 touchdowns. Tampa Bay a winner over Minnesota. Atlanta well behind against the Rams, rallies to win. Little delay, and over the middle, short yardage to Keevan Jenkins. Willie Teal, former Viking, number 20, made the tackle.
Our 2 quarterbacks, Neuheisel and Evans, share, as you mentioned, not only the distinction of being MVPs in the Rose Bowl, but also playing a lot of their college football right here in the Coliseum. In 3 of Neuheisel's 4 years, this was the home field for UCLA. They moved out to the Rose Bowl this last year, and Evans played all 4 years here, so they do both have fond memories, at least some fond memories, of this particular stadium.
They know the way. Neuheisel stopped immediately at the 43-yard line is Harry Holt, the tight end. Jerry Robinson leading the defensive charge. They'll spot progress outside the San Diego 42, which will leave the Chargers 3rd and 2.
In fact, I asked Neuheisel if he had a favorite memory. He said it probably would be in this Coliseum his first pass. He said, I threw it to Mike Young, who's now playing for the Los Angeles Rams in the NFL. He said he caught it out of bounds. But his first college pass, he does remember.
And his last, helping the Bruins to win a Rose Bowl game. Keevan Jenkins changing his course and ad-libbing his way to a first down at the 49-yard line before Jerry Robinson can make another tackle. Well, Neuheisel at the start of this football year had been cut by the Chargers and got a second chance like so many of these players. And all right, we'll tell you, share his comments because we're coming down close to the end of the quarter. Al Williams to the left on first down, tight formation. And now Moffitt out of the backfield lines up to the right. Jenkins again. Ooh, is he decked as he goes into Raider territory.
Jerry Robinson.
Bukowski and Jerry Robinson. The reason that we're not taking our commercial breaks here, we are waiting for the rest of the network to join us here in Los Angeles. Half of the country still watching that overtime game between Miami and the Jets. Rick Neuheisel, we said, part of the grand core of players, replacement players who thought maybe it was over, but here's a chance, trying to impress. Well, he was elsewhere. Are you going to practice? Well, I don't know. I think I'll use it in business. We start the second quarter, 7-0 San Diego. A throwback and wide open as Harry Holt, the tight end, rumbles all the way to the 32-yard line. The 31, they'll mark it. And another San Diego first down. Remember, this series began back at the 5-yard line, helped out by a penalty on 4th down, roughing the kicker.
Watch the lockup between John Stadnick, 65, and Bill Pickel, 71. Stadnick just trying to hold enough of him to keep him off. That turned out to be an excellent play for the Chargers. Gets them down to the just outside the 31.
Eddie Anderson with the tackle. San Diego leads 7-0. And now moving almost the length of the field, close to field goal range on first down. It's Jenkins again. And they're finding room to run inside against the Raider defense. Jenkins to the 22, a 9-yard pickup. Willie Teal, the 5th defensive back, makes the tackle.
Number 79, Curtis Rouse. That's Bob Bukowski, 95, working on him. Rouse just puts that body inside like a Caterpillar tractor and just moves in there. Bukowski took himself out of the play. Good running job by the Chargers. They get close to the first down.
Rouse at 347 pounds at left tackle, but they say has extremely quick feet for his size. He's a good athlete. Whoops, slipping down is Martin Sartan as he tried to change direction, and no gain for San Diego. It'll bring up 3rd down and 1.
Very close to a first down. They may measure that one. Say we can fault Evans for the way he has played so far. It may be that he is just loosening up his shoulder.
This is the current drive, consuming nearly 8 minutes. Already 73 yards and another first down, and up the middle again goes Jenkins. Not quite so successful this time as he gets down around the 17-yard line.
That's the same formation that the Chargers have run their option out of. Watch big Curtis Rouse working on Bukowski again, and Bukowski not a small man at all. About 275 pounds, and Rouse just rolled him out of there.
Wait a minute, you said everything's relative. Everyone is small when Rouse is being the man to whom you're compared.
He said he's carrying about 20 extra. We'll get a chance to talk to him a little bit earlier or later about that.
Inside the 15 goes Sartan as they're alternating between Jenkins and Sartan. Bukowski, 6'5" and 270. Number 95 of the Raiders made the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and a long 3.
I asked Curtis Rouse what he was doing when he was at home. He said watching a lot of soap operas. So this is definitely more productive.
Well, that's munch time for him.
Yeah.
Little munchies and the soap operas. Well, he says he's 347. He ideally would like to be down to 325, but he says I don't want to be too ideal either. Neuheisel completes it to Jenkins, and it'll be very close to a first down depending on where they spot it. They're spotting it between the 10 and the 11. Willie Teal with the tackle.
I think they may have to measure that one again. No, they're just going to give them the first down. Very, very close play, and Neuheisel showing you how accurately he can throw that football. That's the kind of pass that needs to be in the right place so the back can turn and get upfield. If he has to come back for it, they don't get the first down there.
Neuheisel following up on his brilliant performance of last week when he went 18 for 22. He's missed on only 1 in this first half today. From the 11, first down, San Diego leading 7-0. And boy, they're going to keep testing the center of that Raider defense until Los Angeles shows something to stop them. You hunted up that one, Merlin, and that is an amazing statistic. The Raiders, who have been brilliant on Monday night or in nighttime games.
Thursday night, Sunday night, it takes into account all those kind of games. I don't know how you explain a stat like that, but it's accurate. That's the kind that would make a coach shake his head, I'll tell you that.
And pertinent in that they played on Monday night at Denver, and the Broncos, as underdogs, handed the Raiders their first loss of the year. 2nd and 6. Middleton trying to get outside and knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Eddie Anderson up with a tackle after a 3-yard gain. Anderson from Fort Valley State, where he had 26 career interceptions, picked by Seattle in the 6th round last year.
He has 27 tackles in the first 2 games. You see the kind of speed he has, and he is a vicious hitter as well. Did a good job of getting his man Middleton out of bounds there. But Dick, so far we talked earlier about the fact that this Charger team does not have the horsepower, in particular on the line of scrimmage, that the Raiders do. The Chargers obviously have USFL players. They have a lot of people in from different other occupations. The Raiders with their first team line in there, and so far the Chargers really holding their own.
On 3rd down, Neuheisel scrambling and in trouble, and Greg Townsend sacks him back at the 20-yard line. We talked about Townsend's speed. He just had too much for Neuheisel, who had scampered away from early pressure but couldn't elude Townsend from the backside. 14-yard loss.
This is a Tarkington roll. Watch Neuheisel. He starts back. You'd think he's going to his right. He rolls back to the left. Now he has to set up the throw, and that's his undoing. A quarterback that can throw on the run would have gotten that pass away. Elway can do that. Neuheisel has to set the throw.
Jeff Gaffney will try a 36-yard field goal attempt. Blocked. And the Raiders have it at the 27-yard line. Rod Hill appeared to be the man who blocked the football, and was covered by Rick Ackerman, number 60. So a long drive that sent the Chargers from their 5 inside the Raiders 5 ends for naught.
Watch it coming from the right-hand side of your screen. Number 38, Rod Hill. Beautiful takeoff, comes all the way around from the outside and is right in front of his man, Jeff Gaffney. No chance. Chance to watch Gaffney. It looks to be a little bit slow on the timing, and that ball could have been out underneath Rod Hill if he'd been a little bit quicker getting it kicked.
Chargers then twice inside the Raider 5-yard line without scoring. Ethan Horton stopped at the 25 for a couple-yard loss. Jeffrey Jackson and John Taylor, 2 linebackers, with a stop.
Well, if you're on that Raiders sideline, you have to be saying, hey, we are lucky that we are not behind 17-0 in this ball game with all the chances we have given to the Chargers. Chargers, on the other hand, have to feel very good. They really dominated this ball game in a physical sense as well as on the scoreboard.
San Diego had the ball 11 minutes and 11 seconds without scoring. And they actually, in moving from the 5 to the 4, they went 91 yards on that drive. Evans underneath, complete to Akins at the 35-yard line, short of the first down by a couple.
Dick, I asked Vince Evans about his favorite memory of the Coliseum, and he said, well, it's a 2-part thing. He said, we played UCLA here when I was a junior. We were beaten badly, and the UCLA coaches and teams said that they told me I could stand on the edge of the Grand Canyon. I couldn't hit the Grand Canyon with the ball. He said, we came back the next year, beat them. He said, I ran it 36 yards for a touchdown and stood in the middle of the field. He said, right down there. I still remember.
A talented athlete, great arm, wonderful scrambling ability. Ethan Horton has the first down out to the 42. Horton and Strahan, the 2 running backs, each with an early fumble in the first quarter. Horton clutching that precious football, has the first down. Still in overtime at the Meadowlands, the Dolphins and Jets. New England, New Orleans winners. Upset for the Saints. Cleveland big, Pittsburgh a winner, Seattle big. Tampa Bay a winner, Atlanta come from behind, and Green Bay in overtime against Philadelphia. Denver 9-7 in a late game leads Kansas City. No score Giants, and Buffalo 7-0 Cardinals at San Francisco with the lead. Here at 7-0 San Diego in the second quarter. Evans trying to tie it up to Fernandez. What a catch at the 11-yard line. Mervyn Fernandez.
Chargers have been putting number 34, Elvis Patterson, man-to-man on Mervyn Fernandez wherever he goes in the field. And they came right back on that particular play to burn the Chargers and put it on the 10.5-yard line. The Raiders with their first legitimate scoring threat of the day.
Fernandez with an over-the-shoulder tough angle catch and a 47-yard play. Elvis Patterson, the ex-Giant, burned on that one. Horton. Ooh, here the pads pop as Patterson led the charge along with Monty Bennett, number 69. 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Fast-paced game.
There's no messing around out there at all right now.
Ball at the 8-yard line. Remember, the Raiders conceivably could pick up a first down at about the 6-inch line without a touchdown, but having to go, for all intents and purposes, the full 10 yards for a score. Second down. Evans scrambles, and down he goes, and almost fumbled the ball. He did a good job of hanging on.
It looked to be 94.
Randy Kirk from San Diego State.
Yeah. 94 is Randy Kirk, a linebacker, blitzing in from the outside. Watch him, right-hand side of your screen. Looked like he was going to overrun the play, but when Vince Evans stepped inside, Kirk got off the block and smothered him.
He was one of the Giants' preseason cuts, and of course, if you're going to go out and look for players that didn't make it, the Giants well satisfied with their club, you might find a surprise there, one of the rookies that they released.
Pretty hard linebacking core to crack.
Third down and 10. Shotgun Evans. A dangerous man. He loves to scramble, but he won't this time. Shooting through and dropping him for another sack was Monty Bennett, 69. He had help from Joe Phillips, and a flag is down on the goal line, and it could be holding against the Chargers.
But watch the pressure right here. Evans trying to get it outside and looked like he had a chance, but got hooked up in the traffic, and it's going to go against the Chargers. A big break, because that possibly would have kicked them right out of field goal range.
Illegal contact, number 48 on the defense, first down.
Well, what a break. Carl Braisley commits a foul. They would have forced the Raiders into a field goal situation. It would have been 4th and long. Instead, it's 1st and goal from inside the 7. Craig Ellis, number 31, who has led the Raiders with 102 yards rushing in the last 2 weeks, enters the game for Horton. Strahan also in the backfield behind Evans. This is Ellis, stopped cold at the line of scrimmage, and that Raider defensive line and linebackers are doing an outstanding job. 55, John Taylor, the man who made that hit.
Chargers, as we mentioned, who have been known for so long as an offensive team, have really taken a lot of pride in the way they played on defense over the last 3 weeks.
Second and goal. Fernandez in motion. They're going to him. No! Beyond Fernandez. Touchdown Akins. Number 83, Carl Akins, with a score. They had both wide receivers in the same area. Fired it right past Fernandez, who had kind of picked off a defender, and Akins there for the touchdown. Boy, that Evans has a live arm.
He really fired that ball. And the interesting thing was to see Fernandez saying to himself, that was a lousy pass, as it went by, only to realize that it wasn't thrown to him.
The veteran Chris Barr, who reported to the Raiders this week out of Mark Wilson's hold, attempting to tie it. And we're even at 7. So that Braisley penalty for illegal use of the hands becomes an added 4 points for the Raiders.
Here is Fernandez going inside, and you see the second receiver there, and you saw Fernandez look back as if to say, that can't be to me, and of course it wasn't. Beautifully thrown inside.
Actually, there is more room there than would appear from our angle, as Akins clearly in the open, and Evans drilling the ball to him. Evans, 32 years of age now, was a 6th round pick out of the University of Southern California by the Bears 10 years ago. That's his 4th touchdown in these replacement games.
Told me, he said, I'd really almost given up on ever getting another shot in the NFL. He was up in Denver, Colorado, and he said I was working out twice a week, throwing the football, staying in shape. His weight is under what it was when he was playing earlier, but he said I was almost ready to go to plan B. He said it looked like it was all over, and then the call came.
So that was a big turnabout in this game in the second quarter, in that the Chargers had driven all the way inside the 5, then a sack, and then a blocked field goal, and the Raiders immediately capitalized, marched it downfield, helped out by a holding penalty that gave the Raiders a second chance, and then the 7-yard touchdown to cap a 3-minute 50-second drive. And remember that Fernandez catch, 47 yards to keep play in the drive. Sartan deep as Barr sends it to the 4. Sartan picks it up. 15-20. He's got some blockers and just does get nailed as he made his dive. Darrell Byrd, one of the last Raiders in his path at the 29-yard line. Vince Evans, well, he's had his ups and downs. He realizes this may be his chance to hook on with someone, or will he be going back home?
If it doesn't happen to work out here with the Raiders, I've already conditioned my mind to the fact that I'll be going back to work in Denver with an electrical company, and I was very pleased with that before I came here to Los Angeles, so I'm all prepared to go back to Denver and do what I was doing there.
Frank Middleton, nothing electric about that play for the Chargers, a couple of yards out to the 30. Well, it has been a difficult week for everyone, including the players we're seeing today, the replacement players. They just never knew when the other shoe was going to drop.
Well, I think they fully expected, as they saw so many of the veterans crossing the line earlier in the week, that the strike would indeed end, which it did. But then, of course, as the players marched in both of these camps, they were told that they had waited too long, that they would not be paid, and they turned around and went back out.
2nd and 8 for San Diego, a 7-all tie, under 6 minutes left. Neuheisel scrambling away from pressure and out of bounds, chased out by another ex-Bruin, Robinson, after a 4-yard gain. Rick Neuheisel expressing the feelings of the replacement players that, in a way, you know, living day to day, it was nice to know they had enough time to realize, hey, this may be their last game. For most of the players, it will be their last game this Sunday, and having a chance to work toward it rather than just having it end suddenly.
This Charger team has been unique in that they have played all 3 of their games on the road. I think they've gotten to know each other much better than they would if they'd have played in San Diego. You make those long trips to Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, you spend hours and hours and hours on the airplane and in the hotel and together.
And in light of the small home crowds, maybe an advantage to be on the road. 3rd down, 4, flag down. Neuheisel keeps it himself out to the 40. It's a first down but they're legal motion against San Diego.
He paid, and they were encouraged to stay in practice. There were per diem arrangements to be made. They walked out. They said, we'll see you Monday. Raiders, on the other hand, almost to a man, have stayed to practice at the camp.
So Tom Flory's staff conducting 2 practices a day the last 3 days. Neuheisel out of the backfield, but that'll be short of a first down as Keyvan Jenkins makes the diving catch. And with a penalty, the Chargers have to give up the ball when they had picked up the first down. So there have been 2 very important 5-yard penalties registered against the Chargers in the second period, just as the Raiders, when they would have had good field position, were guilty of running into the kicker, and that gave San Diego an extension of a drive. Rick Calhoun deep.
Almost just blocked it.
That's 2 out of 2 that just made it out of there. Fair catch, Calhoun at the 23-yard line.
Greg Townsend, who was in so close on one before, only to rough the punter. I think on that particular occasion, had he turned it loose, he could have blocked it, but I think he was afraid of roughing again. Here it is again as you watch. He's shaking his head here. Watch how close number 93, coming from the left-hand side of your screen, gets to that football. Now we're in extreme slow motion there, so you don't see it, and that's also a bad angle for the play, but he was very, very close to that football.
He was obviously it's left in the half. Start from their 23. Ellis with Strahan. Evans to throw. Fernandez. Incomplete. I'm not sure it would have counted anyway. I believe that Fernandez, in running his pattern, stepped out of bounds and then had to come back in to the field of play.
Well, I think usually we see a hat on the sideline. Referee will drop his hat. I don't see one laid out, so he may have been able to toe dance his way down that sideline. But you see the great hands and the grace and the concentration of Fernandez, and why the Raiders are so happy to have been able to pull him out of the Canadian League and get him here to play with them.
James Lofton and Mervyn Fernandez have become the 2 starting wide receivers, and really a turnover at that position for Los Angeles, as it has been a quarterback with Rusty Hilger. Draw play. Not much there. Out to the 25 goes Craig Ellis and Mike Humiston. We talked about Humiston earlier, number 50 of the Chargers. Played at California, and a very important part of your life. Third down and 8. Evans scrambling, throws it away and almost intercepted by the linebacker. Joe Phillips was applying the pressure, and Jeffrey Jackson almost had a touchdown thrown to him. So the Raiders will have to give it up. Vince Gamache comes on.
As an owner who really sides most often with his players, and he said he very leaned toward them in this argument until they took it to the street, and until the issues kind of were swept aside and it became a battle.
Gamache, a short kick. Al Williams lets it bounce, and this time it takes a San Diego bounce down at the 45-yard line. The Chargers will have it good field position at their 45. Mike Humiston
may not have the opportunity to play on a high school level or even at a college level, let alone a professional level. I'd like to dedicate this game to him and to my family.
And of course, his players certainly join in those feelings. Al Williams on that reverse, picking up a first down or close to it to the Raider 45. As what Humiston didn't say is that this has been a financial lift for him. He hasn't played for a couple years. A deputy sheriff, he said he'll already make in the 4 weeks more money as a replacement player than he'll make the entire year as a sheriff, and it will allow some of Benny's dreams to come true. Wants to get him to Disneyland and go up to Washington State and see his grandparents. Said this has been a chance for us to give Benny some things that we wouldn't have been able to. Oh, wow. 91 Ronnie Washington shooting through, and Neuheisel no chance.
You get a feeling for the reason that the Raiders are interested in looking at Ronnie Washington. That size, that kind of speed, all over Neuheisel, number 91. Watch him coming right up the gut. Nobody there to take a shot at him. Dan Rosato, number 66, the left guard, a man that should have been there to take a piece of him. And Neuheisel will ask him why he was not there. Where were you?
Second down and 19 as Washington, a 245-pounder, and Neuheisel lucky to get up. 7-all. 3 minutes 15 seconds left in the first half. Draw play to Keyvan Jenkins. Nothing much there.
Dick, looking back to the early part of this game, the first Raider fumble, a 4th and inches just outside the goal line. A decision to not go for the seemingly easy field goal at that point backfired on the San Diego offensive series to score.
And the Raiders on the next play fumbled it right back, and on 3rd and goal from the 8, Neuheisel scrambling for the touchdown. Neuheisel, whoa, has to eat it again. Joe Cormier, a former tight end at Southern California who played against Rick Neuheisel's UCLA teams. Cormier has been used as a linebacker by the Raiders, and he has a sack, and the sack total, that's 5 now for Los Angeles.
Rick Neuheisel looked silly on that play, but it was a screen play, and Keyvan Jenkins had just been controlled out there by the linebacker Jerry Robinson. There was no place to throw that football.
And didn't want to risk the penalty by throwing it away. So back goes Calhoun to his 26, and Prokop, the punter from Cal Poly Pomona. And the first 2 punts have been real adventures for the Chargers, both nearly blocked. You can hear them calling out their blocking assignments, and
they're hoping for an offside penalty. No such chance.
Well, the 2-minute warning comes up first, so the timeout at 2 minutes. Reason we're not breaking for commercials for our stations along the NBC line. We're waiting for the rest of the network to join us. That must be the longest overtime game in history in Miami. We played a whole half while they're trying to get an overtime in back at the Meadowlands, where the Dolphins and Jets are tied.
Ball must be floating in the air a great deal back there. Marino didn't go back, did he?
Tom Flores, one of only 2 men in NFL history. For your medical exam every year, and sometimes there's some trepidation about doing that. Now, we've been motivated improperly, the rest of us. When Bo Jackson weighed in yesterday, he picked up $500,000. And Tom Flores said, how will you use him at halfback? And he already has one, Marcus Allen. He said, we'll find a place for Marcus. He always wanted to be a wide receiver. He said, I could even use him at strong safety, but don't tell him I said that.
Well, at 6'1" and 230 pounds, Dick Steinberg, who handles the Patriots personnel back in New England, said that Bo Jackson is the fastest man that he has ever clocked. And if you can imagine putting that kind of speed in this Raider backfield along with Marcus Allen, you got to believe that the Raiders, the entire Raider organization, has to be impressed and pleased to have him out here. And I think Jackson may be realizing that football could be a better choice for him right now than indeed than what we're getting in what he's getting in the Royal organization of Kansas City.
10 men on the line of scrimmage for the Raiders. Prokop doesn't get much distance on this one, and Calhoun 35, 38, 39-yard line. Now the Raiders, with just under 2 minutes remaining, a chance to gain the lead. For a car, if you'll put a $20 bill or larger on the roof, he'll pick it off.
Bigger, no doubt.
Pick it off midair. Evans looking for something big himself to Fernandez. And flag go. No,
they're the hats. They're the hats. That's the one I talked about. When Fernandez goes out of bounds, you see the hat go down, and that means that doesn't matter what happens, the pass would not be allowed to stand. Once you're out of bounds, you're not allowed to come in. What condition are those veterans in as they're coming back to play?
1:44 left in the half. Evans trying to get some big yardage. Wide open, but incomplete. Number 89, David Williams, who was an All-America at Illinois 2 times, an All-America, had 245 career catches, and he was all alone, but Evans, under pressure, just couldn't get it to him.
It's Joe Phillips, number 70, putting the heat on, and you just got to give that credit to the defensive lineman. He did not give Evans a chance to get that one off. If he's a half a step slower, that's a completed pass.
3rd down and 10, and now the Chargers thinking in terms of stopping the Raiders and hoping they get the ball back before the half with some time to play with. Pressure again, and down goes Evans. The second Charger sack as the sandwich with Jeffrey Jackson in there first, and teaming up with Jackson was James Johnson. And the Chargers appear as if they are, Merlin Olsen, as you hit it, going to come after this punt. He gets it away, and it's a beauty. Spirals down to Al Williams at the 19. And Williams stopped at the 26-yard line. Victor Jackson, 49, there first. 49-yard punt by Gamache, and 7 yards on the return. Well, Neuheisel comes in with a -1 yard passing today in the first.
A factor last week, but certainly in terms of pressure, they have been a factor today.
Draw play, and out to the 28-29 yard line goes Frank Middleton. Jerry Robinson, who has made 7-8 tackles in this half, has another timeout.
Of opportunities to be well out in front. In fact, the score could well be 17-7
or 17-3.
True.
Neuheisel trying to go long for Williams. What a catch! No, out of bounds. Nevertheless, it was an excellent catch by Williams over Greg Hill. Williams played at Nevada Reno.
Williams, one of the players that they are very excited about. Watch him, though. He's going to come down with his feet out of bounds. And again, the official on the sideline has to decide, would he have ended up out of bounds or would he have ended up inside?
The pace of the game is almost like watching a college game. Neuheisel under pressure, scrambling out of trouble, looking for a block, and gets it. Ooh, ripped down at the 36-yard line.
Jerry Robinson, number 57, the linebacker, all the way across from the backside.
Neuheisel in a dilemma. 1, he wanted to get out of bounds to stop the clock, and 2, he needed the yardage for the first down. He got neither.
And 3, he didn't want to get killed.
He did get that.
Watch him now as he gets out of a lot of traffic here. And now, as you said, he's just trying to get to the sideline. 57, Jerry Robinson. Look how quick he closes. Boy, he does have great speed.
A yard short of a first down on 4th and 1 with 42 seconds showing. And Prokop will kick it to Calhoun. And the pressure will come from the Raider defensive line. And of course, Calhoun, a threat too. He had that 55-yard dazzler for a touchdown against the Broncos Monday evening.
Got to believe you try and kick this one out of bounds, or at least away from the man. You don't give him a clean shot at a return.
Raiders are coming. Whoa, close again, and a beautiful spiral. Calhoun back at his 19.
Well, I got to believe I'd kick it out of bounds. I don't think I'd kick it to a guy like Calhoun.
There's that guy, Stacy Price, along with the clock to try to get down close enough, at least for Barr, to try a long field goal. Horton and Strahan, the setbacks behind Vince Evans. An ordinary first half throwing for Evans. Under pressure again, he drills it complete to the tight end Wheeler, and Wheeler's to the San Diego 46-yard line. And timeout Raiders, 29 yards in the play. Ron Wheeler, who played at the University of Washington.
You gotta like Vince Evans. Stays in there. Watch how long he hangs in the pocket. He knows he's going to get hit. Waits until the last second, finds the receiver, and puts the ball right in front of him. Wheeler gets a few extra shots. Watch the pressure on him, and then the hit that he takes as he delivers this football. That's good courage from a quarterback.
Les Hayes, number 75, a new addition to the, or check it, Les Miller, 6'7" and 285 pounds from Fort Hays State, made the play. Pressuring Evans, but he gets the gain to the 46-yard line, and 22 seconds showing on the clock. Flores now telling Evans a lot of things. One, you have no timeouts. You have to be judicious about what you call, what you use here. Let's at least try to get a field goal out of it.
On the other side, Ron Lynn, defensive coordinator, who's actually up in the booth, will just have his troops deployed. Don't give them that deep shot. Don't give them the easy one. But you also cannot give them much room here, because there is the possibility of getting down far enough to take the shot at the field goal. You kind of got to play it in between here and hope for good pressure on the quarterback.
Akins, who has the touchdown catch, is to the left. Fernandez, who had that spectacular 47-yard catch, is wide right. Evans' closest man was Horton, and Evans had to unload. Carl Brady
has a miniature sheet. You got to have good eyes to read it. I checked it out. I said if I were playing, I'd try and steal that wristband.
On 2nd and 10, pressure, and this is where he's really dangerous on the run, open field. 40, and finally out of bounds, and a flag down, and the face mask against Jeffrey Jackson. That'll add to the Raider yardage, and with 8 seconds left, gives the Raiders a chance for a long field goal right here, or at least one more play and a try at a field goal.
Well, of course, the question now is it an inadvertent mask, a 5-yard mask, or a 15-yard mask? They're talking that over on the sideline right now.
Face mask, number 58 on the defense. First down.
That's 5 yards. They would announce the personal foul if it was. In other words, the difference is, did he use the mask aggressively? Did he jerk it down in a way that would make it dangerous? Or did he just end up with his hand on the mask? You see him going to the back of the neck there, and we can't see the hand to the mask here at all.
I couldn't see where the left hand was.
Well, apparently the left hand coming in. And from that angle, you're not going to see it either.
So the Raiders will gamble on either the long bomb or a quick out to try to improve Barr's chance at a field goal. Of course, the Chargers looking for a sack that would run out the clock. He's going for it all. Touchdown! Oh! He had enough possession. Carl Akins, it's a touchdown. The Chargers are arguing he did not have possession, but the Raiders score on the final play of the first half.
If he has possession of that football and breaks the plane of the goal line, he has a touchdown. It does not matter what happens after that.
I'm sure that play will be reviewed, and we're going to look at it a second time ourselves.
The question here, did he have possession of that ball when he broke the plane of the goal line? And that's a great angle for it.
Darrell Hopper was in great position, could not knock it away.
Replay official, it's a touchdown.
The ball popped free when he hit the ground, no question about it. Big play for the Raiders as they score with just 32 seconds left. They go 75 yards in 4 plays.
That's one of the quickest responses from a replay unit I've ever seen.
They were on top of that.
Right on it with us.
Barr tacks on the extra point. 1 second showing on the clock. Akins with a pair of touchdown catches in this quarter. 7 yards, and now this over the top. Just takes it right away from Hopper, who had his hands on it for a moment, and Akins steals a score. Boy, on that drive, Evans scrambling for 9, a penalty of 5. Wheeler a 29-yard catch over the middle, and then the 32-yard touchdown throw to Akins.
Dick, I think Hopper made an error in judgment. I think the choice, and of course Akins gets himself the second TD. Here's that play. Let's look. I think if Hopper had gone up with the idea of knocking this football away, it would not have been a touchdown. But right here, he's trying to catch that football, and in doing so, he lets it slip through right into the hands of Akins.
Now Akins, who now has 3 touchdowns. A half that has presented some opportunities for the Chargers. They were able to convert only once, and the Raiders coming up with a dramatic touchdown on the next to final play of the half, and that'll do it for the first half at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. This sparse gathering cheering the Raiders come back from a 7-0 deficit. A battle for first place in the answered by Budweiser, the king of beers. Chris Barr to kick it off to the San Diego Chargers with a 14-7 lead. With 1 second left, Akins giving the Raiders the lead 14-7 at the end of the first half. The sun breaking through, a morning and early afternoon overcast in the city of Angels. Temperature in the high 70s as Barr sidewinds it down. Sartan juggling reception and then diving across the 20-yard line and back up again for another yard to the 23. First half statistics and some tough numbers for the Chargers throwing the ball.
One that'll jump at you, as you say, that -1. Neuheisel getting some yardage, but getting far more in the way of sack yardage, which is deducted, and he ends up with a -1. Turnovers, 2 critical turnovers for the Raiders, and I think what we would have to say about this first half, missed opportunities for the Chargers. Had the ball on the 6-inch line, could not score. Had the ball inside the 5 on another opportunity, were sacked, and then ended up with a blocked field goal. But you saw that 18-minute control. They have had the ball a lot more than the Raiders.
They come out throwing incomplete, and Neuheisel now feeling the pressure of Howie Long. Keyvan Jenkins out of the backfield. A little swing was the target. Howie Long.
Yeah, there he is, number 75, and big Curtis Roush. Curtis using those big long arms. He said he's just got to lock up with Howie, and believe me, he's done a lot of that today. I think the thing that really helped the Chargers earlier, they were running the ball right at the defense, in particular defensive linemen of the Raiders, and doing a good job of attacking them. They are going to have to throw the football more now, and it seems to me that the advantage of the veteran Raider lineman is going to start paying off here in the second half.
7-man front for the Raiders. Neuheisel lobbing the ball incomplete. A tough throw to Keyvan Jenkins. Joe Cormier on the coverage. So it's 3rd and 10 for San Diego, and Neuheisel's numbers continue to dip after he started 7 for 8. And then the sack attack began from that tough Raider defense. And again, for those of you just joining us, the Chargers today started not a single man from the veteran 45-man roster that went out on strike, while the Raiders started 4 men on offense and 5 on defense, including the starting defensive line of Piquel, Townsend, and Howie Long. The throw again is incomplete and a flag down, and we may have interference against Rod Hill, number 38. Tim Moffitt, the intended receiver for San Diego.
Good call by the official. Rod Hill just put the clamps on him and kept him away from the football.
And that will extend the Chargers' opportunities as they get 4 new downs with it.
Holding, number 38 on the defense, first down.
A lot of experience as well as some starting linemen in there for the Raiders. Rod Hill with 5 years in the NFL, Eddie Anderson a couple of years, Greg Hill 2 years, and of course James Davis, a starter in there for them today, a veteran player.
Curtis Rouse, number 79 at left tackle for the Chargers. His assignment to block Howie Long. Rouse is 340 pounds. Up the middle goes 35 Martin Sartain. And we talked with Rouse before the ball game today, and the giant offensive lineman from Tennessee, Chattanooga, had this strategy.
Well, I think the main thing is to keep your arms locked out on him and don't let him get to your body, and try to take the inside away as much as possible, because he got all kind of counter moves for whatever you can do. So you just keep your arms locked out on him and do the best you can. You should be able to handle him.
Now, what does he mean, arms locked out on him?
Well, that means he tries to get those hands right into Howie's chest and push him away.
Neuheisel eludes one on-rushing defender, but Bill Packel is there to wrap him up. The 6th sack today for the Raiders.
Let's watch and see if Rouse is able to lock the arms out. Watch him as Howie goes outside. You see him push right here. See him lock those arms out and push to get the extension. He actually pushes number 75, Howie Long, way past the quarterback. It was not Howie Long in on the sack, as you noticed. Roush did a good job on that play. That's why they like him.
Would you call that matchup wide versus long?
Well, I tell you, he's definitely in the airline trade. He is a wide body.
How'd you like to have him back in the coach section riding home transcontinental? Neuheisel under pressure again, just does get it off to Keyvan Jenkins, who is wrapped up by Jerry Robinson, short of a first down. On 3rd and 13, a pickup of about 4 or 5, and on comes the punting team for San Diego, and that just pass rush is just too much for Neuheisel and the Chargers. Joe Prokop, Cal Poly Pomona, 85, kicked 9 games with the Packers. He's had some good kicks in this game, but every one has come ever so close to being blocked.
Well, he's a little bit slow. They're going to come after him again.
At the other end is Rick Calhoun, looking up into the sun at the 26. He bobbles it and then is knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line. A timeout at the Coliseum in Los Angeles after a 46-yard punt by Prokop and a 5-yard return after the bobble by Calhoun. They may be replacement teams, but the Rechargers, as they're called, and the Masqueraders certainly match up size-wise with their brothers.
In fact, they're actually larger than the starting offensive lines that would ordinarily be in these games. Not difficult to find big men. There are a lot of big men around. But what is difficult, to find big men who have quick feet, who have the talents needed to control those defensive linemen. There are a couple in this ball game on either side of the line who I think are going to stick around.
Raiders' first chance to handle the football in the second half. They start from their own 32 with Vince Evans at quarterback. Couple of touchdown throws in the second period. He comes out throwing. Just over the outstretched try of John Taylor, the linebacker, and then through the hands of Mervin Fernandez, the wide receiver, who nearly matched all of the Chargers' passing yardage with a 47-yard catch in the first half.
You're looking at number 66, Steve Wright, there in the middle of your picture in black. Played for Dallas, 81 and 82. The Colts, 83 to 85. They guaranteed his contract here. He's got that black shield over his eyes, a kind of a Darth Vader, a kind of an evil look to him.
That fits the image.
They're confident that he's going to be a player. They've insured his contract. One of the few who knows what's going to happen to his money.
2nd and 10. Extra hand adjusting. And they took too much time.
Yeah.
That'll be the 5-yard delay again.
Delay by the offense, still second down.
You know, when you think about it, Merlin and Ed, it's just one of the little things that the average fan takes for granted. Here's a quarterback up there making all kinds of adjustments. He's called the play. Now he's adjusting, looking at defense, and then he's got to keep one eye peeled on that 30-second clock. And that's one thing we've seen more of in these last 3 weeks, more delay of game.
And the thing that interests me about Vince Evans is that he has had a 2-year layoff from his USFL days and his days in Chicago before that. So he had to come back and really get with the system.
2nd and 15. And that's Craig Ellis, who played at San Diego State and up north with Winnipeg, Calgary, Saskatchewan, Toronto. He missed Medicine Hat and Saskatoon. 3rd down, 11 for the Raiders. Fernandez wide to the right. Akins split left. We welcome those of you who watch that exciting overtime game in the Meadowlands, and that's Vince Evans, as he is sacked by the Charger defense. The Charger defense playing very well today. Tony Simmons, 97, makes the sack. The Raiders will have to punt it away. They have a 14-7 lead. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, welcome to what is now sunny Los Angeles, California. We'd say 20 to 25,000 here at the Coliseum. Chargers scored first after a fumble recovery inside the 10. Neuheisel on an 8-yard scramble. The Raiders 2 touchdown passes from Evans to Akins in the 2nd quarter. Now the punt, and Al Williams just stays away from it as it rolls down close to the 30-yard line. We are in the 3rd quarter, 11 minutes and 37 seconds remaining. The Raiders 14, the Chargers 7. Olsen at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Chargers, after a 47-yard punt by Vince Camacho, take over at their own 31-yard line. 14-7, the Raiders lead it here in the 2nd half. Short yardage, Martin Sartan maybe back to the line of scrimmage. At the start of today's play, and now updating it with games already played, the Raiders and San Diego in this game playing for first place in the West. Seattle having won at Detroit, rest in 2nd place, and the loser will be tied with the Seahawks. Denver still, well, the Denver, we should take that back. Should they win, they'd move into 2nd place at 3-1-1 as they meet Kansas City 1-3. Long-standing rivalry. This is the 55th game in their long series, the Raiders and Chargers. Neuheisel, who has been pressured to death, hits Key Van Jenkins out of the backfield, just short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and 3. Cormier makes the tackle. 4 o'clock late games today, 4 o'clock in the East. Denver now has taken the lead at Kansas City. The Giants and Buffalo still no score, and St. Louis has a touchdown edge up at Candlestick.
Dick, we're no longer dealing with just replacement teams here. The Raiders with 5 veterans in that starting defensive lineup, including the starting defensive line.
Long, Piquel, Townsend, linebacker Jerry Robinson, and James Davis, the safety. Over the middle, and Neuheisel has enough for a 1st down to Frank Middleton as Jerry Robinson steals the ball away while they're rolling on the ground.
Actually, the defense there in a 4-man line. Bukowski joined the 3 you mentioned. Look at Robinson, who is there quickly trying to strip that football away. Watch him as he tries to take it out of there. This is a wrestling match going on down there. Robinson also one of those starters who had crossed the line during the week. The Raiders with 26 players in total crossing the line, but many of those injured reserve players.
1st down, San Diego at the 46. Neuheisel in trouble. Gets it away just as he was drilled by Greg Townsend, and that was very close to a penalty on Townsend, who just did hold up at the last minute. Rod Hill makes the tackle. That pass good for no yardage.
Early in this game, the San Diego Chargers had some opportunities that would have allowed them to go way out in front. They scored on one of those chances. They got 2 fumbles inside the 10-yard line very early in the 1st quarter. One of those, they ended up on the 6-inch line. They opted to go for it and failed. They could have had a 3-pointer, probably should have come away with points. Later on, they had a field goal block. They were down inside the 5-yard line on that opportunity. So a lot of missed chances in this game so far for San Diego.
Neuheisel drills it, and almost on the deflection, it went to Jenkins. Harry Holt, the tight end, had it first. James Davis broke it up. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
The one thing, throw the fall as we go into this 2nd half.
They haven't really tried it either. I mean, they haven't really tested it. Perhaps they look at a defense that has denied it. Long lined up inside, and he makes the play. Howie Long almost almost as if he knew where that was going to happen. Frank Middleton didn't have a chance. Long should have had the ball. He should have had the ball. He would have gone all the way.
We talk about getting off the ball quickly, about the explosive takeoff of Howie Long. Right in the middle of your screen, 75. He's just across in front of the pulling guard who was supposed to pick him up there and smothered the ball carrier. No chance.
Howie Long, he has that Ben Johnson kind of reaction start. Prokof, a wobbly boot away from Calhoun. A flag is down as it kicks out of bounds at the 24-yard line. And one would guess the ineligible man downfield penalty here, but let's check it out with Red Cashin's crew. That's the case. We'll see if the Raiders make him kick it over.
It's not a great kick, and I would suspect that Flores may elect to take the football down there.
That's
and
what
not
he's doing.
Kick again.
Said waved it off. He said, let's take the ball.
Illegally down the field, number 53 of the offense. That penalty is declined. It'll be first down and 10.
Was the owner of the Chargers. He and Al Davis, as we all know, hardly closest of friends. Who was your number one wanted man, your enemy, when you played here with the Rams?
Well, I think the team was the San Francisco 49ers, and I think when you play a team as often as we played the 49ers, or as often as the Raiders play the Chargers, that you develop a very intense personal rivalry.
Vince Evans scrambling out of the pocket, and a saving tackle by number 96, Blaze Winter from Syracuse. And are they happy up there in Orange Country? The unbeaten Orangeman of Syracuse, Winter, who was a number 2 pick by the Colts 3 years ago and has been the leading sack man and the leading tackler for the Chargers during these replacement games.
Very emotional player. He's one you stay out of the road of. He gets himself loaded up for this ball game, and away he goes. I think he stripped off Vince Evans' towel, his little towel he uses to wipe his hands, and flipped it in the air, almost a celebration.
Second down, 11. One second, just did get that play off. And Evans breaking a tackle on another and gets out to the 27-yard line. Winter finally there to secure the stop. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player at the conclusion of today's contest here in the Coliseum. Evans would have to be up there in the balloting at the moment with 2 touchdown throws, and you could see his clever and talented ability in the open field as a runner. He had 97 yards rushing in the last 2 games, averaging just under 14 yards a carry.
The mobility of a quarterback. What a great asset.
Put some gray hairs in your head.
Yeah, you bet.
Under pressure, and they've got him this time. Down back at the 16-yard line. Tony Simmons, number 97, who played his high school ball in Oakland and was a big Raider fan, makes the tackle for the Chargers.
Proud of our guys. They're not going to quit. They're going to fight.
Gamache hits it high. Al Williams. Oh, is he drilled? Does not call a fair catch. How did he hang on to the ball? As number 49 downfield to drill him, Victor Jackson.
All kinds of strange plays on special teams. Just a bad choice here. And Jackson is right there with the football. Lucky there wasn't a fumble.
Last 2 games, they won both of those games, 10-9 at Cincinnati, 17-13 at Tampa Bay, and they won by changing quarterbacks. They've done it again. Mike Kelly, number 10 now, gives to Jenkins for short yardage.
In their game 2 weeks ago in Cincinnati, Neuheisel started. Kelly came in the second half to win the game. Then Kelly started the next week. Neuheisel came in against Tampa Bay to go 18 for 22 to win that game. Neuheisel starts this game, has not had a great first half, and here is Kelly. Let's see how he can do. And very often a second quarterback coming into the game for whatever reason causes a defense to let down a little bit.
Well, it's been a second half effort for the Chargers in winning those last 2 games, and Coach Al Saunders looking for the same. Here's Kelly, former Canadian quarterback, throws to Holt, incomplete. Covered by James Davis, one of the Charger regulars.
Kelly's a great story. Coming out of Canada, he had made a deal to go to Buffalo. And the Chargers caught him at the airport in Canada and had also been talking to his wife. They convinced his wife that she would love to come to San Diego. She got a hold of him and said, don't go to Buffalo, go to San Diego.
They already got a Kelly at Buffalo.
And here he is. Here he is playing quarterback for San Diego.
He played his college ball down at Georgia Tech. 3rd and 9.
Oh.
Incomplete. Wouldn't have been enough for a first down anyway to Kevan Jenkins. And the punting team on for San Diego with 5:43 left in the third.
There's a decided Raider flavor. There are 9 ex-Raiders, ex-Raider camp hopefuls on this roster for San Diego.
Prokop to Rick Calhoun on the run. Those are the dangerous ones, and Calhoun breaks it out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And with it a timeout, 5.5 minutes left in the third. Made their decision at quarterback in the summer camp. Number 1 regular quarterback, Rusty Hilger from Oklahoma State. The number 3 replacement on this team today, the quarterback, Rusty Hilger. So you go, when you go to review, he drops all the way to 3rd place.
He said, I'm back to my old job. He said, got my chart out. I'm charting plays again today.
Raiders under the guidance of Vince Evans, and he gives off to Steve Strahan, who struggles for 3 out to the 36.
The Raiders only 2 active quarterbacks, Hilger and Mark Wilson, both of whom crossed the line and both of whom are on the sideline. A lot of people believe that Vince Evans is going to play a role in what happens down the road for the Raiders. He's shown them enough, and of course the question mark for them was who would be the 3rd quarterback, and Jim Plunkett in the wings, but Plunkett I think probably may stay in the wings because of the performance of Evans here in the last couple of weeks.
Evans with a 2nd and 6. Some contact, but no flag on the far side as Mervin Fernandez and Elvis Patterson in a one-on-one duel, and that's been part of the story today. And Fernandez beat Patterson, the former Giant, on a 47-yard catch that set up the first Raider touchdown.
But a good part of the day, in fact, almost every time that they've spread out to go against the pass situation, Patterson has been one-on-one on Mervin Fernandez. That is a tough job when a man knows he's going to be covered one-on-one, and except for that one catch, Patterson has had a good day against him.
Wide open Fernandez, and a first down at the 44-yard line.
Patterson respecting the speed of Fernandez, laying off on this play, and of course the pattern taking advantage of that. I think they expected Fernandez to get deep. Outsmarted Elvis Patterson on that play. Patterson, by the way, one of those players getting a second opportunity. Fatalistic about his opportunity to stay beyond this week, but feels he's done a good enough job to really get a fair shake from the Chargers. I believe he's going to be on the active roster, may even start.
I agree, Merlin. From all we hear, he's earned himself a job. Flag down.
They haven't called him toast here. He likes that.
Joe Phillips charging.
Encroachment, number 70 on the defense, still first down.
He played in all 16 games with the Vikings last year. Vancouver, Washington, the Vikings' 4th-round draft pick last year.
And we have to expect that there will be players from these replacement rosters because of what's going to happen. There'll be 85 men on the roster next week, and then they'll name a 45-man roster next Saturday as they have during the strike. Lots of players, in, like going back to training camp.
1st and 5 for Evans. Almost intercepted as he threw it behind Fernandez, and 46 Walter Harris was downfield.
Let's take a peek at what Fernandez is doing. Elvis Patterson again right up to give him a bump. Looks like he does have help on this one. Linebacker dropping back to give him a little bit of assistance.
Well, there's a future quarterback. That's well, let's hope the fans have won, and we haven't lost too many from this grand game.
I don't think anybody won, but if this gets over cleanly now, at least it's over.
Strahan Steve Strahan, who was the Cotton Bowl most valuable player 2 years ago, and a flag is down. 10-yard gain if.
And it'll go back against the Raiders and nullify that fine play.
Some of you who weren't with us earlier.
Holding number 31 on the offense. Still second down.
Brett Cashin was, but those of you who weren't with us earlier, the news on Bo Jackson yesterday. Jackson did report, did work out, and did pass his $500,000 physical. He got a bonus for reporting and passing the examination. And he becomes part of the 106 men that Tom Flores will say hello to tomorrow.
And why are they keeping all those players? Well, one of the concerns is that they were afraid, the NFL was afraid that the players would come in for a couple of days, let them disperse the teams, and then walk out again. I don't really think that would happen, but they are protecting themselves in that eventuality.
2nd and 15, a screen, and it's wide open to Strahan. What a great job of keeping his balance. Strahan knocked spinning on the tackle by Anthony Anderson, and still able to maintain his balance and gain 3 or 4 more.
Strahan, of course, off the regular roster, crossed the line and showing you some of his moves here. A hard-nosed football player. Boy, he just will sacrifice that body. He'll give you everything he's got.
Well, that's a real pirouette. 47-yard line, 3rd and 8. Down to 2:35 in the 3rd. Raiders leading 14-7. And that was one of the reasons why the Giants at times were concerned about his contribution. That was a sure interception, unable to pull it in. Might have been a touchdown.
Patterson reading this play beautifully, gets the jump on Fernandez, the same play they ran moments ago. This time he's up quickly, has the ball in his hands, and a chance to streak up that sideline, but it fell to the ground.
Gamache sends a beautiful spiral downfield to Williams, who fields it at the 8. 15, 30, 32-yard line goes Al Williams, who has been a surprise for the Chargers. He's caught 10 passes in the last 2 games and a good punt returner as well. 44 yards on the kick, and they take over at the 31-yard line. Well, I remember a nice story you told about
that point. They yelled for the defense to go on the field. I ran out, and I'm all the way out past the 50-yard line. I feel my dad. He's running along with me. I said, Dad, the game's still on.
And there's wide open Calvin Muhammad. Can they catch him? Muhammad all the way to the 2-yard line. So Mike Kelly, that's the first time that the Chargers have gone long. And Calvin Muhammad, a former Raider, gained 67 yards on the reception. Well, your dad couldn't even have caught him.
He couldn't have caught him on that sideline, even if he'd been running. Muhammad, the one thing he brings to this game for the Chargers is pure speed. And you see him using it there as he just breaks away down that sideline. Greg Hill, number 36, trying to catch up with him. No chance. And it's Eddie Anderson coming across from the inside that finally gets a piece of him here and pulls him down to save the touchdown. But the Chargers with another opportunity. Let's see if they can get it into the end zone.
This is the 4th time San Diego's been inside the 5. They have only 7 points to show for it. The dive and a flag down as Middleton is stacked up. Is it a touchdown?
No, the Raiders say it's a penalty.
Against San Diego.
Middleton did a fine job of just leaping up over the top to get great penetration and looked to be very
illegal
close
motion
to a
moving
touchdown.
forward. Number 87 of the offense, still first down.
Evan Ferguson, the tight end, moving forward on the play. A little too eager in trying to get this man into the end zone.
Looking down the line. Watch as Middleton just takes off and launches himself into the air over the top of the bodies, reaches out with the football. It's a touchdown, except for the motion, which takes it back outside the 5-yard line.
The Chargers, who had stopped the Raiders deep in their own end, only to have a 3rd down penalty that gave the Raiders 4 more downs and a touchdown. While the yardage isn't great, the penalties that have been called, some have been very critical. That's another, cost a touchdown. The quick hitter straight ahead goes Key Van Jenkins, and Bill Pickel, the veteran 71, there to greet him.
What these Chargers have been able to do against so many of the veteran players.
Too much time in the huddle. The clock was already at 2 seconds, and Kelly saving the 5-yard tomorrow morning.
Well, right now, San Diego's thinking one thing. Roger Theater has called the play. He hopes will get them into the end zone on 2nd and 3.5.
Play action fake. Kelly is eaten up, just as Neuheisel has throughout the day. Jerry Robinson shooting in from that linebacker spot. 6 yards minus.
Harry Holt and James Davis banging each other around, but it's just great blitzing pressure and quickness from the regular outside linebacker Jerry Robinson. Too much speed, and I'll tell you, these replacement players are not used to seeing that kind of speed from those linebackers.
That'll be the last play of the quarter. The Chargers will use the final seconds to let the quarter run out so they can talk about their 3rd down and goal from the 11. After 3 periods here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, the Raiders 14 and the Chargers 7 will return. But it's been entertaining. 14-7. The Chargers trying to tie it up. 3rd and goal. Mike Kelly scrambling. Does he have the speed? No. James Davis shuts him off at the 3-yard line, and Al Saunders, who gambled on 4th and goal at the 1, will he go for the field goal now? He had one blocked. Yes, he's going to try for the 3. So that's 4 times inside the 5, only 1 touchdown.
Only 1 score. They, of course, had the blocked field goal, but boy, you've got to take advantage of your opportunities. One of those was a long drive, about a 95-yard drive to get down there, and that's the one they had the field goal blocked on. Timing was bad on the blocked field goal. Let's see if they're a little quicker on this one.
Jeff Gaffney punches it through. So with 14-10 remaining in the final quarter at the Coliseum, the Chargers settle for the 3. Raiders lead by 4. Head and Shoulders shampoo. Now your good grooming is Head and Shoulders above the rest. See Calhoun and Ellis waiting as Gaffney sends his kickoff toward Calhoun at the 3. 15, 20, 25 into the clear at the 30. Rick Calhoun finally brought down near midfield by Carl Boisley and the kicker.
Calhoun, one of those bright spots for these Raiders last week in that game against Denver as he brought a punt back. Shows you his alertness here and his quickness. You've got to bring that ball upfield on those kickoffs, looking for a chance to pop through a hole. He did that, gets some good acceleration here, and has the Raiders in excellent field position.
Ideal kick returner, 5'7", not much to grab, and 190 pounds, so he's very strong in the legs, and
he can run through a tackle.
Showed it on that return as he did in Denver on Monday night for the touchdown on the punt return. Raiders start from the 48. The toss is to Strahan. No one out there for the Chargers. 40, 35, and down to the 32. Boy, they had the right play for that defense.
Someone simply lined up improperly or sound asleep, because Strahan out quickly. Just a toss out to the weak side here, and Strahan out as they're able to outflank San Diego's defense. First man over there to touch him when he's about 6.5, 7 yards downfield, and Strahan gets a little more on his own as he picks up the first down.
Farrell Hopper finally wrestled him down at the Charger 32. This is Craig Ellis to the 22, maybe the 21, and close to another first down. Jeffrey Jackson with a tackle.
Trying to rally his troops. Al Saunders really tries to work with the emotional level of his Chargers. Calls them mercenaries. He says these are my mercenaries, but he's a believer. He has liked the way they have produced for him.
And they call the regulars call the players that are kind of that run the other team or in the preseason that work on another field, the Zingos.
Zingos,
and of course, they've adopted this replacement team in San Diego. They're the Zingos. What did you call them? Mullets?
No, that's a term that's used down in Miami by the Steelers. I can't remember, what did we call them? I'll remember that. Let me
you
think
must
about
have a
that.
name for the
Yeah,
guys
we
that
did.
ran the other team's plays. And
We do. Yes, we had a lot of names for them.
well, so much for that discussion. So 2nd and inches, a free down here for Evans. And it's Ellis straight ahead to the 18-yard line for the first down. 12 minutes and 40 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
Someone hurt on the 20-yard line. Raider down there. It appeared to be one of the offensive linemen.
And with it, a timeout as they attend to the fallen Raider. Zone Power, former Boston College star on the Flutie and Strahan team. Ball is at the 18. It appeared that Steve Wright, the tackle, came over to take some of the bandages off his hands, a wrap. And he is, yes, 66 Wright is now the center. He's just cleaning up the mitts so he can perform the duties. The toss is to Ellis behind some pretty good blocking to the 14, a gain of 4. Joe Phillips, number 70, who was right there head on with the center.
It's good takeoff, but gets his legs stripped out from underneath him. No lack of hustle, no lack of determination as he was hurrying to try and be a part of that tackle.
Leading 14-10. The Raiders have it 2nd and 6.
Let's.
Is that a catch?
I think it bounced.
It did. Mervin Fernandez trying to scoop it. Tough call, but a good one.
One of the officials shielded on the call. Howard Slavin was shielded, had to get some help on the call. But watch this ball. It's thrown inside and will skip off the turf before it arrives. You get a chance to watch that one for yourself at home.
3rd and 6, a very big play for both teams. The Raiders looking for, and Vince Evans wants to be sure he's going to come over and check with Tom Flores. They want to get 7 out of this and build that lead, and not a field goal that would keep the Chargers within a tie. Back and pick apples. You were on strike once. Did you ever consider where were you going to go?
A couple of times. Well, we had a strange offer. My brother Phil was playing with the Rams at that time, and they wanted us to be wrestlers. They wanted us to go out on the professional wrestling circuit. They had names for us already, tag team.
Who were you?
I was going to be the Kodiak Kid. Phil was going to be the Blonde Grizzly.
The Blonde Grizzly. Well, you obviously were the good guy.
Oh, we were going to be good guys, yeah. But there were a lot of bad guys out there we're going to match up with.
Well, it's in Curtis Rouse against both of you. All right, a big play. 3rd and 6 at the 14. And they run it with Strahan, and it doesn't work a lick. Strahan, who got good yardage on that same quick toss going left earlier in this series, read well by Tony Simmons, 97, and Chris Barr in the field goal unit comes on. Barr, who connected on a couple of extra points, getting his first field goal chance. He was getting ready for a field goal at the end of the first half, and a very big play. The Chargers gave up the ball with less than a minute remaining, and the Raiders went 75 yards and scored on with 1 second left on a long touchdown throw. Evans to Akins, 32 yards, when it appeared that they'd have to settle for Barr's field goal. This will be 33 yards. And it hooks back inside. Good. Veteran Chris Barr builds the lead back to 7 for the Raiders.
To the CFL, he's been working out with the British Bulldogs, a tag team up in Canada. They call him the Prairie God. Look at all that blonde hair. That reminiscent of Gorgeous George of wrestling fame. He says he's excited about a career as a wrestler up in Canada.
Thank you, Kodiak Kid. may have a whole career. We'll send you guys on the road. Let me be the announcer. Sartan shooting across the 25 and rolls out to the 28-yard line. The score is 17-10. The Raiders leading the Chargers with 10.5 minutes left. Bob Bukowski on the special teams in to help out on the tackle as Mike Kelly, replacing Rick Neuheisel, is the quarterback for San Diego.
Just as a final add to that story, interesting that some of these players gathered from all corners of the map. Goltz had to be taken off the active roster last week because as a Canadian citizen, he was not allowed to take the job of an American player when the players were on strike. Now the strike is over, he can play. He's on the roster.
Kelly, a little pump fake and then throws underneath for short yardage. It appeared to be Harry Holt, the tight end. 6 yards on the play. Darrell Bird with the tackle. Mike Kelly, who played at Saskatchewan and Winnipeg and in the USFL with Tampa Bay and Memphis. He makes his home down in Masters Golf Country, Augusta, Georgia. At least he went to high school there. Then to Georgia Tech and picked by Atlanta in the 6th round in '82. Going on top, has a man open. Al Williams all the way to the 8-yard line. Boy, he's shown tremendous accuracy on the bomb. He's completed 3 passes. One went for 67 to Muhammad, and this one is answered at 58 yards to Williams.
Rod Hill, number 38, trying to cover here, but that ball well thrown, and Hill, who's played some time in Cowboy country and for the Bills, just flat out beaten on this play. And then Williams adds insult as he gets extra yardage and drags Hill along with him.
And that explained why the Cowboys gave up on Hill, who was a #1 draft pick in '82 out of Kentucky State. Traded him to Buffalo.
Too many of those, you find yourself on the road.
So again, inside the 10, the Chargers. Oh, losing his balance was Martin Sartan. Looked as if there might be more yardage there.
Sartan looked like he just lost his legs, and for a lot of these players, even though they've been in camp a few weeks, they're still not really in condition to play at full speed for the entire game. Look at him here. His legs just give way. He just does not have that strength. You see those legs drop down, and he ends up falling into the line for some yardage, but not nearly as much as he could have had he driven up in there under full power.
All just outside the 7 on 2nd and goal.
Makes us wonder how the vets are going to do in conditioning when they come back in.
Spread formation. Kelly incomplete, almost deflected back to tag Rome in the end zone. James Davis made the defensive play, and Kelly had to hurry his throw. Greg Townsend was on him.
Again, the pressure from that veteran defensive line paying off for the Raiders as they have been able to continually put heat on the Charger quarterbacks all day long. And if there's been one difference in this game that would tip the scale one way or the other, it would probably be that veteran leadership on the defensive line that has made it so difficult for the passing game of the Chargers.
Even to make it worse, the spot is back at the 8-yard line, so they lost a half yard just on the spot. 3rd and goal. Touchdown! Al Williams, the man who caught the bomb to set up the score. And the Chargers will try to tie it with the extra point.
Rod Hill beaten on one play down the sideline, and Greg Hill at the other corner beaten right over the top. Watch this, just a timing pattern. Looped over the head of the defender. He's got to keep that defender thinking the ball is not going to arrive until the last second. A great job of doing that, and Williams picks up the touchdown.
Well, so Williams climbed both hills, huh? 57 and 7, and now to try to tie it. Bad snap, but the kick is there. And with 8:07 left in the game, it's tied at 17 as we take another look at Al Williams, who on a perfect timing play ties it with a touchdown. Budweiser, the king of beers, as Jeff Gaffney tees it up, and Craig Ellis on the far side and Rick Calhoun on the near, ready to return for the Raiders, who found themselves with a surprising match in these Chargers, who really are playing without any veteran regular roster players. That one is drilled by Gaffney. No return by Ellis. The touchback at the 20-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Greg Hill, and it was cut beautifully.
Raiders start from their own 20 with Ellis and Strahan behind Vince Evans. It's Ellis. Ooh. And he's out to about the 24-yard line. Let's recap that drive. 71 yards, the Chargers drive to tie it. Took them just a little over 2.5 minutes. The big play, of course, was the 67-yard pass from Kelly to Williams, and that same combination collaborating for the score. Tom Flores, 50 years of age, in his 9th year with the Raiders. One of the gentlemen in the game, a real pleasant guy.
They have
a person you'd like to knock on the door and say, Tom, can I come over tonight and you cook me some cioppino? Which he likes to do, by the way. Evans with a pump arm fake. And Fernandez, and a holding against the Chargers. He was going to be wide open, and they grabbed him.
Well, and that's a decision you don't blame a defensive back for. That long arm faking action will pull those defensive backs in, and they would rather have the penalty there than the touchdown.
So it's holding and not interference, a big difference. Interference could have been about a 25-yard penalty. Holding is just 5, and the first down goes with it.
Number 34 on the defense, first down.
Elvis Patterson, we mentioned that he has been working virtually all day long on Mervin Fernandez, and he knew that's a veteran play. Because at that long arm fake, the ball is not in the air. You're dealing with a 5-yard penalty, even though you are giving up the first down.
On a day that found the Bears being upset by New Orleans, and no unbeaten teams after 5 games of this troubled '87 season. Ellis stopped at the 30-yard line after a gain of 1. Joe Phillips, Jeffrey Jackson in on the tackle. This game is the property of the National Football League, the LA Raiders, and San Diego Chargers, all rights reserved. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. You see Vince Evans checking the playlist on his wristband and coming out to look at 2nd down and 8. Plenty of time on top to Akins. He can't hang on at the 35-yard line of San Diego. Akins, who made a sensational catch over a defender with 1 second left in the half to give the Raiders a 14-7 halftime lead.
Carl Brasley, 48 right there, along with Patterson, number 34. They hit him just as he got his hands on that football and forced him to drop it. But that was an excellent pass. Gosh, that's a nice throw by Evans.
You can see why they like him. Not only his arm, we haven't seen his scrambling talent. The Chargers, that was something they worked on all week to contain Evans. They've done a good job of that. The others have not.
Shotgun.
On 3rd and 8.
Let's, and he's going to run. There he goes.
And down he goes with a first down at the 40-yard line.
Dale Hopper, the man that came up to put the stopper on him, but Evans giving you a little feeling. You're looking from behind. He's not afraid to run that football, and it pops open right in front of him. You got to run the football. You don't take the chance there. You see that open turf. You got a chance to pick up the first down, and Evans got it.
On 3rd and 8, he scrambles for 11.
Well, you called that one. You said we hadn't seen him run, and sure enough, he listened, and there he went.
Well, they've contained him outside, but with a blitz, there was no one at home in the middle. Strahan breaking free for a moment to the 47. Brasley made the tackle in the secondary for San Diego after a 6-yard gain as the clock ticks away. 5.5 minutes remaining.
I think the Raiders would like to be able to control that clock on this drive, get down and get some points without leaving much on the clock for San Diego. And they're not too far away, a couple of first downs away from Chris Barr country. And of course, Barr has Mark Wilson, his regular holder, too. So that contingent is intact.
And Regent, who was injured earlier, is back in the game for the Raiders, the center. Ellis just shy of the first down as Joe Phillips is able to hop on his back at the 49-yard line.
Little traffic jam as you get a chance to watch Mervin Fernandez on the outside, trying to be a blocker in this situation. Needed a policeman inside. Good job by Phillips pursuing inside out. We've shown you a couple of good plays by Phillips today. And there will be a few of these players kept on the roster for financial reasons, Dick. They're, if you can replace a man making $250,000 with one making $60,000, not a bad deal financially.
Economics. Ellis, I don't think he got the first down at the 50-yard line. That second surge defensively. John Taylor, the linebacker, was in to plug the hole. And it'll be 4th down, apparently. Although they've given him a very kind spot. Let's see.
I don't think he's got it.
Fans already are chanting go for it.
Well, and you might see that happen, although there's a lot of time on that clock, 4:11.
Well, I thought he was stopped right at the 50, but they gave a generous forward progress and a first down.
He's got it. Maybe we can see the end of that play, because it did look to me. Let's watch the play again. Remember, we're looking from behind, so we'll change the angle a little bit. Now he is over the line. His knees are right on the line, Dick. And of course, at the time that his knees hit the ground, that meant that he had about a half a body length. So that was a fair spot.
As usual, the officials,
they did a good job.
Great majority of the time are right, even though naked eye at first it appears otherwise. Evans drills it. Complete again. Nope. Knocked away from Fernandez, who was double teamed, and Elvis Patterson. Boy, Patterson is
he's been all over the field. Mike Humiston there to help him.
They're closer than some law partners.
I'll tell you, Patterson is going to be tired tonight, as is Mervin Fernandez. But that's twice that they've stripped the ball away. That was Humiston really getting his hands in there, number 50, to jerk that football out of there. And Mike getting a good jump on that ball to come and help on the outside.
Humiston, for those of you not with us earlier, playing inspired football the last 4 weeks for his 8-year-old son, who can brag about his daddy today as he watches from in Red Bluff, California. Draw play.
No. And a holding call, I think.
Ellis, another flag goes down after the play. May have had an elbow or forearm thrown.
Sean Regent, I think, was the man who held initially. Let's wait and see what the second call is.
The play actually lost a yard.
Well, and I think the second one is going to go against the Chargers. What do you say, Red?
Holding, number 62 on the offense. Unnecessary roughness, number 47 on the defense. Penalties offset. We'll replay the second down.
Foley's foul by Daryl Hopper, 47, that helps the Raiders.
After the play, there it is at the right-hand part of your screen, and you saw the elbow being thrown by number 47, Daryl Hopper. Boy, you're out in the open like that, you cannot afford a situation where you nullify a very excellent opportunity to march your opponent back 10 yards.
Well, they lost the play, which was a -1, and then they lost the holding penalty, which would have been a -10. Instead, it's no play. 2nd and 10. Evans, wide open. Fernandez out of bounds at the 40-yard line. I thought, how did he stay in bounds? Boy, that's a marvelous piece of footwork by Mervin Fernandez to stay in bounds. He's all the way down inside the 25-yard line.
Elvis Patterson thinks that Fernandez is going out of bounds, but watch Fernandez reverse gears. Oop, right to the, his toe was almost on the line, comes back and takes it upfield for a big gain. 48, Carl Brasley, the man who finally pulled him down, but now they're well inside the field goal range of Chris Barr.
That's the 4th catch for Fernandez and 92 yards for the man who has earned a starting spot for this Tom Flores Raider team.
It's such a load to put on one man, knowing that you've got to isolate man-to-man all day long. Patterson has done a good job, but you cannot cover man-to-man all day long against a great receiver like Fernandez. interesting. And before the game, I was down on the field, and Fernandez and Goltz, that you met just a few moments ago, were teammates back in 1982 with the BC Lions. And Harry Holt walked up, and they said, Harry. They hadn't seen him in a long time. He was also on that team. So 3 guys who played for the BC Lions in the CFL back in '82, and I guess Fernandez and Harry Holt were pretty close. Had not seen each other for 5 years, renewing some old acquaintances.
He was Fernandez caught 374 passes in 5 years up in the CFL. He was their best receiver. There was a delay because of the replay. No change as they looked to see if he went out of bounds. They had the same feeling we did. Ellis down to the 21-yard line with 2:42 left in this game, and Barr now anticipating his role. A field goal might well win it, and the Raiders have the luxury of being able to use as much time as they can to at least get a score, whether it be field goal or touchdown, and deny the Chargers any time to come back.
See Barr thinking on the sideline about what he needs to do. Very important to have a veteran in that situation when you get down to the final seconds of the game.
Back inside, and to the 20-yard line goes Ellis, and that'll take
out San Diego
to the 2:06 mark.
Timeout number 2 for San Diego.
That's the second timeout spent by the Chargers, so they have but 1 remaining. 7th head coach in Charger history, following Sid Gilman, Charlie Waller, Harlan Savari, Ron Waller, Tommy Prothro, and Don Coryell. Gilman, of course, one of the greats of this game, one of the true offensive geniuses.
Tom Flores has sent his play in with Vince Evans, and let's see what they try to do to pick up the first down here.
3rd down and 7. Oh, close to an interception as 47. Darrell Hopper was much closer than Akins. And here comes Barr in the field goal unit with 2:01 left. So the Chargers are going to have basically 2 full minutes to try to counter whatever Barr does here. They have 1 timeout.
And of course, in their minds right now, the thought of blocking this field goal. We mentioned the advantage Barr has, and Mark Wilson, his regular holder, so the timing there and the confidence level there very good.
He kicked one from 33. This one will be 37 yards. Oh my, missed to the right.
And the possibility of overtime looms its head, unless the Chargers can use this last 2 minutes to pull themselves back into this ball game and get some points on the board.
He just mislined it, kicked it with plenty of depth, and misses to the right.
And would Al Sanders like to go back and try that field goal on that first opportunity early in this game?
From the 1-inch line?
Ooh.
Oh, 20-20. Cleveland big, Pittsburgh wins, Seattle wins. We'll give you more in a moment. Chargers with 1:56 left and 1 timeout. Give us to Middleton, shakes out a 1 tackle and earns a tough 2. The rest of the early finals today: Tampa Bay a winner, the Rams lose at Atlanta, Green Bay in overtime victorious against the Eagles. Denver has a 9-point lead in the 4th at Arrowhead. The Giants and Buffalo match field goals in the 4th. San Francisco now has gone in front of St. Louis by 6 in the 4th, and here it's tied at 17. Kelly, nice throw again, and a good open field tackle. Martin Sartain hit by Cormier, and had Cormier not made that stop, Sartain had another 10 yards downfield.
Cormier, a tight end in college, still has excellent speed.
Raiders call time. That's an interesting call, I guess, with 3rd and 2 showing. They're trying to stop the Chargers and take another crack at a field goal. For the Chargers, former Cavalier at Virginia, hoping he gets a chance. 1:14 left, and of course Barr could make amends as well if the Raider defense stops San Diego here on 3rd and 2 and forces the Chargers to kick it away. Mike Kelly, that 2-quarterback system has worked.
It's working. Let's see if they go in behind Curtis Rouse on this short yardage situation. No, they're going to throw the ball. Oh,
not even close. Rome broke inside. The pass went outside. Willie Teal, the 5th defensive back on the coverage. And on 4th and 2, punting team on, 1:10 left, and the Raiders have 1 timeout left.
Simply a bad read, or perhaps a bad anticipation. Obviously options for the receiver on that particular play. He thought that Rome was going outside. He went inside. Kelly threw it to the outside anyway.
Remember, the Raiders have blocked a field goal attempt. Prokop, the left-footed kicker, sends out a dying spiral.
Not a good kick.
And it goes out of bounds. Good field position for the Raiders at the 43-yard line in LA territory with 1:03 left. They're only a couple of first downs away from Barr getting another chance to win it. The American and National League Playoff Series in baseball is our director.
Shotgun formation for Vince Evans. Blitz, they're coming from everywhere.
And Evans is going downtown. 50, 45, 40, all the way to the 34.
If you blitz a running quarterback, you better get him. You see the leadership there from Evans. He said, hey, get on down here. No huddle. We're going on in.
40 seconds. Clock running. Evans just throws it in the ground, which you can do now. That was one of the rule changes to stop the clock. They have 1 timeout remaining.
An aggressive call by Lynn, the defensive coordinator of these Chargers, and they had people there, but again, Vince Evans saw the opening up the middle, as he did earlier in this game, and quickly took advantage of it. No indecision there, using his running ability to pick up those precious yards.
A field goal try from this spot would be 51 yards. That's within Barr's range. He's kicked 155, but one more first down is all the Raiders want to give Barr a real good shot at the winning score.
Very short shotgun formation.
Evans throws. It's intercepted. Could go all the way. Elvis Patterson for the Chargers. Oh my! Patterson scores, and he had the presence of mind to use up more time in doing it.
He ran down the goal line to ease out a few seconds off of that clock, and Patterson, we told you, had been man-to-man all day long on Mervyn Fernandez.
He had Peter hopeful. Strahan was the closest to him. Gaffney's extra point try, no good. No good. So with 18 seconds left and 1 timeout remaining.
Not a critical point in a row to revive an offense.
First it was Kelly for Neuheisel, then Neuheisel for Kelly, and it's Kelly today. Out of bounds it goes. So there's the new rule, and the penalty will take it out 25 yards from the kickoff spot, and the Raiders are going to have good field goal or good field position at their own 35-yard line. Well, they probably wouldn't have come out any better than that and yet not use a second. So they save all their time, and Evans, with 1 timeout left, is 65 yards away from a touchdown that would tie and an extra point that would win it. Well, he's had time to talk it over. Now it's Evans, not Barr, with amends. Maybe both will get a chance.
What a big victory for the San Diego Charger team, assuming that they can maintain their lead here. The Raiders favored by more than a touchdown.
Much more by some. Evans downfield. That one could. Is it caught in bounds?
Yes.
Yes, at the 45. And that used only 6 seconds.
Mervyn Fernandez, again the target.
That was David Williams that time, number 89 for 20 yards.
Got that 6 upside down.
Well, he was. He was. I want to thank Joe Costanza and company, all the help in the booth. Chuck Panama, Gretchen Myers, Stan Otaki, Doug Mann, Phil Olson. Kodiak Kid's partner.
The Kodiak Kid. He's the blind grizzly.
Evans. Almost intercepted by Anthony Anderson. 7 seconds. And this will be the final desperation play at this point. A short yardage play won't do it. They've got to load it up and throw to the end zone. And Evans has the arm to get it there. Report card today, one of our features on our coverage throughout this 87 season. Evans 11 for 30, way below what he has performed the last 2 weeks. A couple of touchdowns, but one touchdown went the other way for San Diego. Aiken's 3 catches, 2 were for touchdowns. He loads it up. And it's knocked away. Darryl Topper, I believe it was. Oh, Carl Braisley, 48, knocks it away, and the ball game is over. Well, you have to say the Chargers were all of that. They go 3-0, the replacement team, and this the most dramatic of the lot as they upset the Raiders 23-17. The first time a San Diego team has beaten the Raiders in LA since they moved here after 5 straight for Tom Flores.